right, welcome everybody to Jazz Bar Chords Part 1 with Lisa Webb. Thank you for the Memphis Library Foundation for sponsoring this program and many other music programs. This program is also brought to you by Memphis Public Libraries in Memphis, Tennessee. If you want to learn more about our programs, you can go to memphislibrary.org. Almost everything we're doing is virtual these days. We're doing some programs outside, so if you come to Memphis, you can go to those as well. Without further ado, let's welcome Lisa. And if you haven't already, if you can go to the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from and how you heard about the program. If you have questions while Lisa's demonstrating and talking, please put those in the chat. She and I will both be monitoring that. All right, take it away, Lisa. And once again, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Sue. I have to send out a huge thank you for Sue right away. That's the first thing I have to say because she's the one that has set all this up. Thank you so much for doing this. And the Memphis Public Library is doing a huge outreach program for music and I'm sure other arts and book reviews and everything. And I can't thank them enough for having me on. So without further ado, we'll just get going here. I've broken down the jazz bar chords into two different nights, as Sue mentioned. This night is kind of a little bit of an introductory class. So if you're an intermediate to advanced player, maybe there'll be a couple things that you don't know, but it might just be a review for you. And then next Tuesday night will be a little bit more involved in the jazz bar chords. But I am going to try to approach this with as much movable chords as possible because it's really, really nice when you just learn one chord shape and you get a lot of mileage of it, up and down the fretboard, right? I tell my students that you get a little bit more mileage out of that chord shape. So it's really nice to do that. So we'll be kind of approaching this from a chord shape standpoint and also a chord spelling standpoint. So there's going to be a little music theory involved, maybe a little bit of math. Yeah, not much. Don't worry. I won't give you a lot of math. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my first screen here. And I have broken these down by the number of strings that they are, that we're talking about here. Let's see here. There we go. So everybody should be able to see the standard ukulele fretboard, and I've called this one Jazz Bar Chord Session 1 the twos. Because we're only going to be talking about 2 strings at a time on this little handout. And we're going to go fairly quickly. So a lot of these chords will be familiar. First of all, the fretboard that we have written out there for you is a standard fretboard. And the cool thing about this is, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it points out every single note on the fretboard. I love this whole diagram. When we start to play the ukulele and we learn our C and we learn our F and our G, we're not really concerned about what notes are where. And so this really spells it out for you. And when you're thinking about jazz chords or any kind of chords, it's really, really nice to know where the notes are on the fretboard and how those notes work together to spell a chord. So if you look down under here in the purple, it says chord construction in thirds. When you are spelling a chord or actually forming a chord is always formed in thirds. In other words, you've got a scale in music. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it repeats. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are the only notes that we have in music. So, but if you actually skip one, if you go from A to C and then C to E, you're forming a chord. That would happen to be an A minor chord. Then you can look over here on your fretboard, and I've got, of course, the top string, 2nd fret to form my A minor chord, right? So that means I'm playing A, C, E, and then A. That's a spelling for A minor. Okay, so I may talk about chord spellings throughout this thing, and I hope I don't lose anybody. But if you do get lost, you can always go back and just realize that chords are constructed in thirds, and that might help you. Okay, it's really nice to know when you're practicing your ukulele. It's nice to know where your notes are, where they are. If the more you know, right? The more you know, the better player you're going to be, and the easier it's going to be to define when you're moving down the neck. All right, so let's go down to letter A, top 2 string chords. All right, so we've got strings that are on the top, which are closest to us, and strings are on the bottom, which are closest to the bottom of the floor. So the top 2 strings, we have a dyad or a 2-2-0-0. That's a D sus2. You might want to say it's a D add 2. It's a little different from your regular D because it drops the third and it makes it a 2 instead. If you think of your scale degrees in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, normally that's the third. D, F sharp, A. Once again, we're spelling in thirds. You drop that F sharp, make it an E. It's a cool sound. All right, move up the neck a little bit. A lot of you probably know the F major 7, 5-5-0-0. Love that chord. Use it all the time. I probably overuse it. Move up a fret to the 6th fret, 6-6-0-0. It's an A6 chord. Why is it an A6 chord? If you look on your chart again, so you've got a C sharp on the top note, you got an F sharp, which is the A6, and then you've got your open strings of A and E. So you've just spelled an A6 chord. Okay, so those are just a few examples of your top 2 strings moving up and down. You can also offset your 2 strings on the first 2 or the top 2 strings. It's a G13 chord, which is very, very cool. I'll get into all the extensions in a little while. Move up the fret to 5-6-0-0. A D9 chord. Cool sounds, aren't they? And an A7 chord. You might say, well, there's an A7 chord down here. And sure there sure is. There's another one up here. They're everywhere. So it's nice if you were playing a progression, for example, and you didn't want to have to go all the way down to that A7. You're right there. So it's really, really nice to know some of these chords that move around. In fact, let's do a little blues in A. Let's do that A7, if everybody can finger the 6-7-0-0, open, open. Okay, we're going to do A7, then we're going to slide down 1 to D9, and then we're going to go back to A. And then we're going to actually go all the way down to finger our E7 chord when we need the 5 chord, all right? All right, so let's do strum a little A7. Let's go to D9. Back to A7. Let's do an E7. Back to D9. Back to A7. So that's kind of a cool, alternative to some of the chords down here. All right, so that's the top 2 strings. Moving right along to the middle 2 strings. If you do an open, 1-1 open, that's a very, very cool chord. That's actually an augmented chord. So if you had your regular old A major chord, remember we're going to skip thirds, A, C sharp, E, right? Here's our E string, but we're going to increase it by a half step, and we're going to make it larger. We're going to augment it. So that's a really cool sound. A lot of songs use that formation. That's a movable chord, by the way. We can move that anywhere we want to as long as we can bar it. So that's really helpful to know that that chord will move. Another middle 0-2-2-0 without barring anything is a G major 9. Real pretty chord. I use this one when I do Girl from Ipanema. And then I use an upper neighbor, even though it's not really a legitimate chord. It's got a G that's acting as a little bass note for me. It's just a little bit of ear candy. You can move all these around. They may not spell exact chords, but they sure are fun for the ear. They're really cool. And let's go to our bottom 2 strings. If we play 0-0-3-3, we've totally eliminated our E in a C, E, G, C major chord. There's no E in the chord. So we call that a C5. It doesn't have a third. It could have a major third, or it could have a minor third. But this doesn't have a third at all. It's thirdless. Okay, and then another cool chord is also based on C. It's a C6 chord, just like your open, but it adds a 9, which is 1 over the octave. Another cool sound. And then if you go 2 more, that's a C major 7 chord. So that's a major chord that you've added a 7th to. You stacked on another third, C, E, G, B, all in thirds. Okay, so let's try a little just slow making whoopee to end this page here. We're going to start on that C major 7. We're going to go to that A7, which is up there in letter A, if you can follow my cursor. So we're going to do the C major 7. I'll just call it the spellings. All right, let's start on the C major 7 with the 0-0-7-7. Here comes the A7, and it's 6-7. It's another bright, another June. Go down to that D9. You just slide right down. Slide down again for G13. Another C major 7. Honeymoon. There's our F major 7. So those are all working for you up here on the neck a little bit, a little bit different from if you played them down here. Another June, another sunny. It's a different sound. I keep mixing that up. Another June, another sunny honeymoon. So it's a really different kind of cool sounds, and we're only we're only figuring the 2 strings. Yeah.
Lisa, can you unshare for a second and show us how you play that so we can see it?
Oh, so you can't see me. Oh, I am so sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
Let's see here.
Well, I mean, we can if we have it set up right, but yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Would you be able to see me now?
We should all see you now, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with that C major 7, which is the 0-0-7-7. Another bright. The A7 is the 6-7-0-0. Another June. We're going to go straight down to the D9, just down a step, just down a fret. And then that G13 is 1 more. We'll go back to that C major 7 with the 0-0-7-7. Sunny A7. Here's our F major 7. Honeymoon. Did that make sense? That make better sense?
Yeah, it's good to see how you did the fingering.
Yes, yes. And there's some people that are talking in the chats. Let me give everybody my email, because you are more than welcome to email me, and I will I'll send you the handouts.
Yeah, so you can
Simple
go back
as
to
that.
the screen share. Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, great. All right. So that was my first handout with just the little 2-note bar chords. So let's go on to the next one, which involves fingering 3 strings. And I've got, just so it's familiar to you, the same fretboard up there so that you can see the notes that we're looking at. And these start to be some really cool chords, some of my favorites. The first one, if you bar the 3 bottom ones, how cool is that? If you think of your regular G minor chord, okay, and then you play a G minor 7, which is open, 2, 1, 1. Okay, that's a G minor 7. It's a minor chord with a minor 7th on top of it. Then you drop this middle finger, I don't know if you can see, and all you do is 0, 1, 1, 1. You've flatted the 5th, and that's a really cool sounding chord. In a progression, you could use it as 4 or 2 to 5 to 1. It's a really cool sounding chord. Move up a fret, and you've got G major 7, which probably most of us have played. That's a lovely chord. Another fret up is your C minor chord, and another 2 frets up is a G9 chord. Nice chords. One thing I found when I was looking at these 3 bar chords from the bottom is April in Paris. If you slide that around from 3 to 1 to 2, you have April in Paris. April in Paris, chestnuts in blossom. Really kind of pretty cool treatment of those. That's how you can immediately use some of those. All right, and I've included the 3 top fingers barring, even though you're not really going to bar them unless you want to take your whole hand around and do it this way, which I think is maybe not so kosher. But we all know our D chord. Our E flat becomes an E flat with a sharp 4 if you leave that top note, that top A string open. Then F would be move up to the 5th fret, and G sus2 or add 2, that's your 7770. And I found the E flat sharp 4 by accident when I was trying to figure out Bally High, because there's that sharp 4. That's really kind of a cool voicing. Okay, do we have any questions on that? That doesn't have many chords on it. Let me see if I can get my chat going here. I've lost my chat.
And if you have a question, you can unmute to ask the question.
Yes, please do. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that one. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, good. I'm going to just move right on to the next one because we just have a few things to cover here. So we actually have some songs for us to play, so we can actually have some fun and we don't have to look at all this theory. It's just nice to understand what it is we're playing, I think. I think it, makes you a good musician and makes you understand what you're doing. And uh-oh, wrong one, hang on. Stop. No, this is the right one. I just did the 3 ones. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So now we get to use all 4 strings. Well, we've been playing them all along, but we get to actually finger them now. So, or not finger them if we play them open, right? So the main thing I want to talk about with all 4 strings and in regards to jazz bar chords and moving them around is the fact that there are 2 different chord identities or chord spellings, if you will, when you play your C6 chord. You're also playing at the same time A minor 7. Did you know how talented we all are to play 2 chords at the same time? That's so cool. The reason that is, if you look over here to the very, very left part of the fretboard where it says A minor 7, it also says C6. Remember, we're spelling our chords in thirds. If we spell our C6, C is the root or the name of the chord. We've got C, E, G, and an added note, which is A. That's not in a third, is it? That's just right next to the G. That's why we call it a 6. We have a root, third, and fifth in our chord, and we added the one above it, which is a 6th chord. So that's our C6 chord. All right, if we play C6, it can be the root of our chord. It can be the name of the key that we're playing. We're in C. Right? However, if we are in a song and we are supposed to be playing A minor 7, we are actually playing the same thing, but now it's spelled A, C, E, G. It's a minor triad, the A, C, E, and the 7th is either on the bottom if you have a low G, or it's on the top. It's an A minor 7. And that could be used in a different progression. That might be used in a G, the key of G, for example. That could be a 2 chord. And we're in a different key, just like that, because the chord functioned or it behaved differently just because we have a different spelling. We've got a different name of it. So it's really cool to realize every single lineup on this whole fretboard here, we're playing 2 chords at the same time. So it's really kind of cool. So let's do that. Let's do a D minor 7. All right, let's look on our chart. Where's the D minor 7? It is on fret number 5. So we're going to bar all the way across. Okay, then we're going to go up 2 frets to the G6. All right, and we're going to end with that little 2-note C major 7. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do a little progression. Once again, it's F6. That's all across fret number 5. G6 all across fret number 7, and then stay on fret number 7 and just play the bottom 2 for our C major 7 that we had in the other handout. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty cool, right? So that's a real easy way to get around some of these movable chords. Also, if anybody's having trouble barring, a lot of times, especially on a 6 chord when I don't have to use the rest of my fingers, I'll do what I think of as a tennis double backhand. I use both fingers. If your pointer finger is just a little tired, clamp that 3rd finger right on top of it. Helps you press down a little harder. So that might help a little bit. Let's do Route 66. If you see that down there on letter A, I can stop sharing here real quick if that helps. All right, so Route 66 would be that same, sorry, it's going to be the 2nd fret. If you, and then you're going to go to your regular old G7. Plan to motor west. Okay, we'll just do a phrase of that. 1, 2, 3. If you plan to motor west. And that's another cool thing about these bar chords. A lot of times you can slide around and sound even more jazzy. They're almost kind of like grace notes or grace chords. Plan to motor west. Slide. Travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Right? That's just really, really cool. I think that's really jazzy and cool sounding. Let's see, we had another song on that one. What did I do with that now?
I appreciate you including that song for me, Lisa. I'll be living
I
right near
know.
Route 66. Thank you. I was
You're
thinking
going to
I
have
need
to
to learn
document. For those of you that don't know, Sue is actually going to be driving Route 66. She's moving from Memphis to somewhere in Arizona, right? I'm not sure.
Yes, Kingman, Arizona, which is right where Route 66 and Interstate 40 meet.
Right there. So yeah, you'll be having this song in your head the whole time. That's going to be fun. Okay, so that was an example of D as a 6 chord, which we can see is the actual fret number 2 that we fingered D6. However, let's think of Moon Dance now. Moon Dance with A minor 7, or you could use A if you want to. But instead of calling this D6 now, I'm going to call it B minor 7. You could call it D6. It just, for me, works a little bit better in the key when I'm hearing it as a minor chord. And a lot of this is very subjective. You might hear this as a major chord still when I'm combining it with a minor. I'm hearing it as a B minor 7. But regardless, you're playing either a D6 or a B minor 7. They both work there. So let's do a little Blue Moon too, and you'll have a little bit more experience of barring all the way across here. Blue Moon is down at the bottom of the page. We're going to play our regular B flat chord, which is 3, 2, 1, 1. In case you're not grabbing a B flat. B flat's a little tough of a chord. And then we're going to go to the G minor, and you don't have to do the whole G minor. You can just do the G minor 7, which is 0, 2, 1, 1. So all you're doing is letting go your 4th finger. Okay, for the B flat, let go that 4th finger, you're on the G minor 7. Then the fun part, E flat 6 is the 3rd fret, F6 is the 5th fret. Okay, does everybody have that? Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Pretty cool. We can just put those 6 chords in a lot. And a lot of these songs that we consider our jazz songs, which came out of the American Songbook, they were originally written as 6th chords. 6th chords kind of fell out of favor for a long time. I think maybe more in the 70s. But they've come back around again, and they're retro sounding, and they're cool, and they're sure easy to play. So I use them a lot on the ukulele. All right. Sue, your song. All right, so we are continuing on. I have one more little theory handout for you, and then we get to play some songs. I promise. This is just a continuation of kind of what we talked about. I just wanted to make sure everybody was understanding. Let me get rid of some of these because I can't see where I am. Go away, you. Here it is. Hello. Okay, so we're going to do 2 songs together tonight. One is the Nancy Sinatra song, These Boots Are Made for Walking. And then the other one is Moon Dance. And they're both really, really kind of cool to play these 6 chords and move around the neck a little bit. The other thing is, when you're playing all the way across the neck, you can add your 4th finger and turn your 6th chord into a dominant 7th chord. Okay? A dominant 7th chord is built you can see it probably the easiest if you play your C7 chord, because all of these finger formations, all of these movable chords that we're going to be using for the dominant sevenths come from the C7, which is a C major chord, and instead of a sixth, it's a seventh. Okay, we call these dominant seventh chords because they sound dominant. They sound like they want to rule the roost and they want to resolve to a chord. Dominant sevenths are usually built on 5 chords in the scale. So I'm playing a C seventh. If we count down C, B, A, G, F, we find out that if that's the 5, we're really in the key of F. So it's a dominant seventh chord. So, of course, lo and behold, we can put our bar chord in place and tuck that 4th finger behind it. Go all the way up the neck as far as we want to go, and we've got all of these dominant seventh chords. Okay? So I've spelled out a couple of them for you in the middle: the D7, the D flat 7, the F7 on the 5th fret, E7. Of course, this would be E flat 7 on the 3rd. Okay? So that's a really, really cool formation too. I'm sure a lot of you have already played these. And when we do the show next week, the class, the Zoom, it'll be starting at this point and really adding to these chords. All of the chords, by the way, that have the numbers after them, we call extended chords, because our basic chord is our triad, our 3-note triad that we spelled in thirds, whether it's C, E, G, or it's G, B, D, whatever. That's the building block of our chord. And anytime you see a number after your chord, we call those chord extensions. So this is the 6th is kind of like an extension. The 7th is extension. And we have 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th. And guess what? We come right back to the root. So they're pretty kind of cool. And there's all sorts of formations to play them. So we'll get to a lot of those next week. All right, and a couple other things before we play our songs. On Boots Are Made for Walking, at the very, very top, we are going to find our 10th fret. Okay, so you can look at your dots on your instrument. The first dot is usually at the 5th fret, 2 up is the 7th, 3 up is the 10th fret. We're actually going to start on that 10th fret and really get to use these frets. We're going to strum 2 beats per fret. That's going to be part of our Boots Made for Walking song. Okay, so that's going to be really, really cool. And then Moon Dance, we've already learned about the B minor 7 or D6 in that one. And there may be some dominant sevenths coming your way in that one. And then the last thing is on the bottom of this page, Boots Are Made for Walking has a really cool, what I call almost, they're closely related chords. They have so many common tones in their chord structure that all you have to do is move one finger from the F to the D minor. And in Moon Dance, you do have to move more than one finger, but it's a lot of repetition. So I find that a little bit easier. Okay, enough me talking. Let's play some songs. So let's start off with The Boots Are Made for Walking. I'm not sure that this is really classified as the American Songbook jazz tune, but it's certainly jazzy, and I've always thought it was a cool tune. So once again, our introduction is going to be finding that 10th fret way, way down there, and we're going to strum twice all the way down, and then we're just going to vamp when we get down to the D6. It's kind of a swing tune, so we're going to have a little swing beat to it. That introduction happens again at the end of the chorus. at the end of each course. I believe that happens. So just be prepared. You might have to run back down to the 10th fret again. Okay? So let's try it. Okay. Oh, wait, first of all, let me ask if there's any questions. Anybody want to unmute and ask any questions before we play a tune?
And you know what? Since most of the instruction is over, I think it'd be fun if people that turned on their videos so we can see people playing.
Yes, that would be awesome.
I think that would be pretty cool for this part. If you're willing to let us see you, we won't hear you.
Yay.
So. But this just makes it a little more fun for Lisa to see too.
Yes, we have so many people. I'm so glad you all came. Yay. But if anybody wants to unmute right now and ask any question, please feel free before we start this. Or you can, of course, ask a question after the song, whichever you'd like. I sure hope that this is some new material to some people, or maybe it's explained a few things. Maybe it's confused people. Hopefully not. I tried to make this more introductory tonight, and the next Tuesday night will be a little bit more complicated. So anyway, well, okay, nobody's saying anything except for me. So let's get to some Nancy Sinatra here, all the way down on the 10th fret, and we're gonna once again strum it twice, all the way down. Okay, so here we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. I think somebody is not muted now since we're playing the song.
You're not.
Oh.
I got it.
Okay. Let's try that one more time. Hope we get more practice on this part anyway. Here we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Saying you've got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been messing where you shouldn't be messing, and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over 10th fret. You. All right, we're gonna vamp again, D6. Here, you can use your slides. It's kind of fun. You keep lying when you ought to be truthing. Not bet. You keep saying when you ought to be changing. Now what's right's right, but you ain't been right yet. Here we go, the chorus. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots get ready to go to the 10th fret one more time. I just found me a brand new box of matches, yeah. And what he knows you ain't had time to learn. We get the chorus. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna, let's do it one more time. Now we're gonna do some real slides on the outro, okay? Are you ready, Boots? Start walking. For this one, I'm doing the D6, letting it all go for C6, C sharp, and the D. Are you ready, Boots? Start walking. How'd everybody do?
That was fun. I'm just curious what kind of strum you're doing on that one.
Oh,
I don't want to
boy.
get too much into strums, but
Down, 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 up, down, up is what I'm doing. Down, down, up, down, up. I have to figure out what I'm doing.
no, I know. Thank you.
Yeah, down, down, up, down, up. So I'm really skipping beat number 3. Down, down, up. So 1, 2, 3. Down, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's beat number 3. Down, down, up, down, up. So I'm kind of hitting more of the up beats just to make it that little more jazzy swing sound. Any questions on that one? Boy, you guys are a very respectful bunch of people. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Well, is anybody having fun yet? You can unmute yourself to tell us that one, right?
Okay.
I'm having a blast.
Very fun, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, this
good.
has been amazing.
Really interesting. Way to go about it.
Cool.
Crazy fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's been
like
super
some-
so
fantastic.
glad.
Just so much talent there, and so much information that
interesting.
you're giving us. I appreciate it.
Well, good. I hope it's not too much
Boogie.
information. I hope it's helpful.
Very helpful.
Yes. Hey,
And,
Stephen Lawson, who lives in my town, he prefers to see all his classmates, he says in the chat. I do too.
And don't forget, you can email Lisa or contact her on Facebook to get a copy of the handouts, or you can get in touch with me. Lisa, if you can just send them to me, that way I can have them
Oh,
to
sure,
give to
sure.
everybody.
I'll for sure do
So
that.
that'll make it
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, this is great. Is there another song, or was that
I
it?
have
Like-
one last song,
yes,
the
yes, yes.
Moondance song. Yeah. If we have time, I know we're kind of a little bit
We have time.
to the 40. Okay. All right. Great. Moondance is something that probably a lot of people have played, just because it's such an accessible song, and who doesn't love Van Morrison? My gosh. So this is what I am thinking. The B minor 7 kind of functions as the 2 chord. If A is the 1, right next to it, right next door up to it is B, and that's your D6 or B minor 7. And then guess what? You get to use some of your 7th chords here. You have to remember that F7 with your 4th finger tucked behind you is all the way on 5th fret. It's for that part that seems to shine in your blush, and then it's right a step down, a fret down. So 5th fret, 4th fret to E7. A lot of you, I'm sure, played these 7th chords. So let's see if there's any other weird things in this song. I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, let's do it. 1, 2. Intro 2 times. Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance, with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance, neath the cover of October skies. And all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sounds of the breezes that blow. And I'm trying to place to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. And all the night's magic seems to whisper and hush, and all the song of the moonlights, here we go, 5th fret, shine in your blush. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some can play that E7, sorry to stop you, right down there where we're on the bottom fret. Instead of running all the way back to the 4th fret, I would just finger E7 the normal way. 1, 2, 0, 2, right? At the end of the chorus. All right, here goes verse 2. 1, 2, 3. Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning has come. And I know now the time will be just right. And straight into my arms you will run. When you come, my heart will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. And every time I touch you, you just tremble inside. And I know how much you want me, that you can't hide. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make one more romance with you, my love? Then we'll do the ending over there on the right side of slowly. Can I just have one more? Oh, I forgot to do this part. I'm so sorry. We have to find our E minor 7. Can anybody guess where that is? If we finger them all the way across as a bar chord. If you can't think of it, it's just easier to count up. B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E minor 7. So that's the 7th fret for your E minor 7. Okay? So if the ending is rubato, can I just have 7th fret? One more moon dance with you. Now we can use our 4th fret E7, my love. Just a little bit of color there at the end. It's a different little placement, and like I like to say, a little ear candy, just to make things a little different. Any questions about that one?
Can you show us the end again? That's really cool.
Yeah. So should I unmute or I mean, should I take away the chart? I feel like I should leave it there.
Yeah, just leave it there.
Okay, so if you're on the ending, we've got the A minor first. Can I just have, by that /G, I mean, I've got a low G on my ukulele. All I do is let go of that A, and I've got the A minor 7, or I've got a G in the bass. All right? Then we have counted up to that E minor 7, right? It's a 7th fret. One more moon dance, down to 6th fret for the E flat minor 7, down to the 5th fret for D minor 7, with you. Then we're down there for that 4th fret E7, my love. Okay, let's try that one more time, the ending. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? So that's a pretty cool way that you can just do that a little bit differently. All right, any other questions, you guys? Stop share so I can look at it faces again. Oh, thanks.
Where's that G in the ending? Where's that G in the ending?
The G in the ending.
The G?
So I was first on an A minor, and I just let go of that A. So it's really an A minor. Yeah, it's got a G in the bass. A minor chord with a G in the bass. Or
I see.
See how there's all these different spellings. You can call it A minor 7. You can call it C6. There's so many different ways to spell these.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
It's how they're working in the progression. How these chords are. It's almost like if you had a color wheel and you mixed two of your colors, you'd have a totally different outcome with a couple of these notes and how they're moving together in the progression in the song.
That's a nice way to look at it.
Once again, I have to thank Sue and the Memphis Public Library. You guys are so awesome for putting these on, and I really hope everybody will tune in again in a week, because we're really going to get into, as a teacher of mine once said, the nitty-gritty of it all. We're going to get into some more complicated chords, a lot of them which will be movable. So bonus movable chords.
This was awesome, and I kept telling people, even if you don't think you're intermediate or advanced, come to this workshop and I guarantee you'll learn something. And based on the chat, everybody here learns something. I learned a few things. The number one thing I think we all learned is how it takes so little to do cool things. I mean, we kind of knew that, but now we know the chord names for those cool things that we were kind of doing sometimes. So that
some
is
of them
awesome.
are happy accidents too. You
Yes.
can just be playing something and you're like, wow, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll write a song that does that. Or it's a lot of them are happy accidents. Your fingers just sort of fell into them and you're like, man, I'm going to use that instead of this chord.
Yeah, do. And can everybody unmute and give Lisa a round of applause? This was awesome.
Great, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see so
All
many
right.
people I
Thank you,
know.
Lisa.
Thanks for
I'm done.
coming, you guys. Robin and Susan.
Can I say something for a minute? Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I'm not savvy, so this is the best you're going to get. But I'm from Gooderham, Ontario. That's outside of Haliburton. We're about 3 hours from Toronto. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming all this way to Memphis.
And thank you to Lisa for coming from Nashville to Memphis.
Thanks to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good
Stay
night.
safe,
Bye.
everyone.